sensitive microphone.
Oh yeah.
So you are.
Hey everyone. We just got finished taking an awesome thumbnail, so we're really excited about that.
That was for you.
So that's right.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Turkey Day.
And I'm Nick.
And we are the Gosslings. And we have the first of the 2020 winter holiday extravaganzas.
I think Christmas is going to be awesome this year.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people are going to be forced to do small things with just their family, and it's going to be good for them. And I think people who love Christmas more than ever are going to really have a good year. I'm planning on having a great Christmas.
You're excited?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hate going out and doing stuff.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. Well, it's about the only thing you can get away with at this point is driving around looking at Christmas lights,
which we do.
Yeah,
which we do. Yeah.
Yeah. As an old tradition of the Gosses,
and it's really cold in this garage right now.
It's a little chilly.
It's
not bad. It's getting cold in Tennessee,
starting
man.
to drop. I know.
I heard it's supposed to snow on Monday.
It's tomorrow. I hope it doesn't.
Yeah, it is tomorrow.
I hope it doesn't. Well, and then again, I kind of hope it does because I can work from home and I can maybe get out of having to drive in on Tuesday.
Yeah. See, we're not very adept at snow in Tennessee, and part of that is inexperience. Also, part of it is physics, because it's like we don't get snow as much as we get ice, and it's all hills.
Yeah.
So, like, without a tank, you can't really get anywhere because they don't let you have chains on your tires. So,
I think, how ironic would it be, though, if 2020 was the first white Christmas we've had in 30 years?
And it probably would be about 30 years.
Yeah.
I was 9 years old when I remember the first not white Christmas.
Really?
Yeah. I think it was maybe 8. I may have been a little bit younger, but I remember being adolescent and waking up on Christmas morning and there wasn't snow, and just like feeling like this doesn't count. You know what I mean? Like, how is this Christmas? This isn't, little did I know that I should like buckle in, Buttercup, because that's going to be life.
It seems like all of the Christmases when you're a little kid, it's like, even if there wasn't snow, I still remember snow. Like, oh yeah, it snowed all the time when I was a kid.
Yeah,
for Christmas. But now,
well, and a part of that is a little bit rose tinted glasses,
absolutely
nostalgia, but also you had winter break, you had Christmas break from school as a child, and it was gonna snow at some point during Christmas break, and all of that like 2-week period all just kind of got mushed into one.
Yeah, and it's easy to mix up Christmas break with the subsequent snow days that are inevitable.
Oh yeah,
once you get into January and February. And I had lots of snow days.
Yeah, out in Idaho, especially.
Oh yeah.
Man,
what'd you do for Thanksgiving?
I did nothing. I think I slept and ate leftovers. We kind of had our family Thanksgiving early. We had it
our older brothers
Sunday.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and most people were either busy or out of town. So we just kind of hung out, which was nice. I took a really great nap. It was great,
awesome.
With the dog. So Lily got into this thing where she doesn't like to sleep on the bed anymore. She's grown up now. So, she's got the
baby's all grown up.
I know, it's so dumb. So I'm like, listen, part of your fair market value is you cuddle and you sleep on the bed. So I have to like retrain her to sleep on the bed, and she'll give up eventually and just, fall asleep. But,
there's still a legal market for dogs.
Yeah.
Just saying, might want a reminder.
Yeah. I keep telling her, like, I'll sell you to the various restaurants around here, Don't
to China One.
Yeah, I'll sell you to
the Sunny Buffet.
Yeah, to Panda Garden, and probably get like at least a good 2 months worth of free meals out of it. I mean, how much money do I have to spend on you before? It's good training for a child, I think, in a way. Like, I mean, it's not really having a dog, but there are elements of dog ownership because they're like perpetual 4-year-olds.
Yeah, in a way. In a way,
it's very one-dimensional compared to a child.
Oh, but yeah, for sure.
But that aspect of like repeated discipline, lackluster results, disappointment, lack of appreciation.
Yeah, well,
all of those things, short-term memory.
Like a potty trained 4-year-old, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
A potty trained 4-year-old that doesn't know words.
Right, yeah. Yeah, well, we were never really convinced that Lily didn't know how to talk. Like,
She probably speaks 4 languages.
Yeah, we can just see her like on the computer, at 6 in the morning when everybody's asleep, just looking up, researching stuff and blogging about her awful owners. Dear Diary.
Dog blog.
Yeah, dog blog. Yeah. It'd be called Lily Pad.
I'm blogging right now.
Oh, you coming? Uh-oh. Yep. Better go scratch at the door. Oh, is Master asleep? Is Human asleep? Oh, okay. Now it's time to go scratch at the door and wake him up. So, anyways, how was your Thanksgiving? You guys,
it was fun. Yeah, we went to a state park.
Yeah.
We ate dinner there, and it was good.
Nice.
We didn't wear any masks at all.
Nice. Dude, I'm so hungry.
There was a lot.
I can't wait till we're done with this crap so I can go.
We're going to a Mexican restaurant, and we're going to hog out.
Yeah.
Hog out.
It's going to be great.
But yeah, it was good. We went on a couple hikes.
Nice.
And what did we do? I got lots of video of the kids.
Oh, cool.
And
Okay.
they have an indoor pool there. We stayed at the inn in the hotel, and they have a little indoor pool. So we did some swimming, and we went to see some Indian mounds, some Indian burial mounds.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep.
So also known as giant Nephilim burial mounds.
It's funny. You won't
Sasquatch enclaves.
You'll see the word. You won't see the word burial. They'll say Indian mounds. They'll rarely ever say Indian burial ground. They'll hardly ever say burial mounds.
Is that
even though we know for a fact that that's what they were? They're buried. There are skeletons. There are remains of people under those mounds.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, well, maybe they buried people there, but really they were more ceremonial. They wanted to put their temples or huts or whatever up on top of them. It's all speculation. They totally speculate what these mounds are and what they were used for, but there's no evidence at all that they can present to back that up.
Is that because they can't excavate them?
Yes, that's exactly right. And they haven't been able to excavate, well, at least the mounds we went to since the late 1800s. But really, most mounds, I think there was a Conservation Act in the 90s.
Yeah.
That put an end to all that. I mean, anything on federal or state property, you can't. You weren't able to.
Yeah.
But even on private property.
Yeah.
If you have a burial mound on your private property, which is rare, I don't think there are any anymore.
Probably not.
But you, as of 93, you couldn't even excavate that mound if it was a historical marker.
Yeah.
So, but we have account after account and newspaper stories. I got a whole book of them.
Yeah.
That we got at the Sasquatch Museum, and all these old newspaper clippings of skeletons being found in all these mounds, oversized skeletons, very large ones. And that's something that I post about. Yep, Giants on Record. See, right there, I pulled it up.
It's
cool backwards, book. But this right here, awesome. Fantastic.
I actually think it shows up right side. I think you can read it in the playback.
Oh yeah, I hope so.
Yeah,
I hope so. There's all kinds of accounts. Look at that, boom.
It's pretty cool.
Oh, it's fantastic.
That's the book to get when you go to the Sasquatch Museum.
Oh yeah,
for sure. So, are there normal size? Like, has anybody ever discovered normal sized human Native American skeletal remains there? Also,
yes. Well. Normally at the center of the burial is a 6 or 7 plus foot skeleton.
Really?
But the normal size skeletons were usually laid alongside, maybe in a circle, maybe the servants or slaves. Because I know there was one Indian Native American tribe that if the chief died, all of his family members would die with him. They would kill all the family members to be buried with him,
as it should be.
Yeah. Why not?
The patriarch's
Why not?
gone.
But
Just
they would do that, and that was just 300 years ago.
Yeah.
And we're talking about.
Sorry, little Tickle Chuck. It's time to go to the Great Plains beyond.
I know you were born 4 or 5 years ago, but
look, it ain't that great here. So we ran off all the buffalo.
Yeah.
So So okay, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So they find around but there's always a central location with an oversized one.
Yeah, normally, yeah.
That's
Normally
weird.
there is, and there are, there's a. Ohio has the most.
I was going to ask.
Ohio has the most burial mounds.
Yeah.
And the most interesting ones.
Really?
There's the Great Circle Mound, which is a mound that is like a circle, like a wall around it's huge. There's
like a crescent,
30 or 40 acres encompassed in this circle.
Whoa.
Huge mound. It would take, what was it? I can't remember how many miles of dump trucks, bumper to bumper, to move enough earth to make this mound. It's called the Great Circle Mound in Ohio, and another even more interesting one is the Serpent Mound.
Really?
In Ohio, the Serpent Mound is, now think about this. The Serpent Mound is this, maybe 100-yard long mound in the shape of a serpent, and the head of the mouth is open, and it's swallowing an egg.
Okay.
How would you know?
Right, unless you had a
bird's eye view.
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. Yeah.
Unless you were an interdimensional being who happened to be a fallen angel who.
I'm just saying, if you're up there
along the brass cope,
I don't know how else they get up there and be like, move the eyeball over.
Yeah. This one needs to come in a little bit.
It looks a little too much like a worm.
Yeah, it's not snaky enough. Yeah. Come on, we gotta pay homage to to Lucifer.
It's pretty crazy though. Check it out, the Serpent Mound in Ohio. It begs some questions. And the Native Americans, there isn't a Native American tribe that knows where the mounds came from.
That's right. I remember talking about that before. Like that's the weird.
The ones in Ohio, for example, the Shawnee protect the mounds. They care for the mounds, protect them, but they say the mounds were here before our people ever got here. Yeah. And then like the Smithsonian and the historians are like, no, you guys built the mounds, right?
Yeah.
Like, no, we didn't build. No, you did. You just forgot it. It's just not in your stories anymore. You probably just forgot it. Like, no, we've had, we know
our people. Yeah. We know our history. Yeah. Don't tell us how to. Yeah. Well, that's the thing about it where, everybody will say like, oh, that's aliens. That's aliens. It's not aliens.
No,
there are no aliens.
No,
aliens don't exist. They're fallen angels and they're deceiving you. Just wait 10 years.
Aliens are just demons.
Yeah. All aliens are just demons. Sorry. They're probably just Nephilim or Grigori, or other fallen angels.
Watchers. Rephaim.
Yep.
You're like, what are all these words? And why are you guys so off the rails?
How did you dovetail into this so soon? Yeah. Well, maybe if you read these first things, then, we've talked about the Genesis 6. We haven't really talked about the Book of Enoch a whole lot, but that's kind of standard issue, at this point.
Yeah. I've been listening to some lectures on the Book of Enoch and the early church's acceptance of it, the Jewish culture's acceptance of it, and it's a shame it's not in the Bible. It's not canonical, but it is a very important book.
Rob
and
Skiba.
It really it gives you context to what people in the at the time. Yeah, at the time the Bible was written, the New Testament, the first century.
Yeah,
I mean this made up a lot of what they already understood and believed.
Yeah,
it's only touched on in the scriptures.
Yeah, well, and that was like my understanding. You can correct me on this if I'm wrong, because it's genuinely been 20 years since I researched any of this. But if I remember correctly, the early church believed in, they accepted the Book of Enoch, the Book of Jasher, the Book of Jubilees, all that stuff was common knowledge in the early Christian, Judeo-Christian church up until, was it around the time of Constantine when angel worship became a problem? Or was it something else?
It was, it was when they were finalizing the canon.
Okay.
Which didn't happen till, around that time.
That was Constantine, though, right?
A little later, a little after Constantine. It wasn't finalized.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
But they were just trying to decide, okay, what is going to make up our canon? What are we going to say is actually God inspired, God breathed, and yada yada yada. But it took a couple hundred years to get there, and up until that time, Did
the Council of Nicaea exist throughout that whole time, or was that
that was a one-time event?
Oh, okay.
The first Council of Nicaea was in 325.
325.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, Nick has a degree in theology, so he's done all the hard work. So I just get to go in and just pick. It's like a buffet. It's like an informational buffet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Informational buffet. That's because I'm a jack of all trades.
Mm-hmm.
I know a little bit about several things, but I don't know a lot about any one thing.
Yeah.
So I'm not an
I think
expert
there's like
in
a
anything.
3-letter word missing from that phrase.
Jack of all trades. Jack of one half. All trades.
He gets it. He knows what a horrible sense of humor I have.
Yeah.
So what was it that prompted them to do away with the idea of the Grigori, the Nephilim, the Rephaim, the Anakim?
Yeah.
As a theory or as a part of the cosmology?
I don't know yet.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know yet.
Does anybody really?
They drifted away from it. And I don't know why. I mean, I can only speculate that they wanted to probably control the narrative. I mean, like even today, the Catholic doctrine takes more of the Sethite view,
right?
A
Protestant does too.
Yeah, well, and most Protestants now do too as well. That's our theological heritage. But I don't buy that.
I don't either.
But that's just because they're drawing what they believe, what they make their doctrine, 100% straight from Scripture.
Yeah.
And because Enoch isn't in Scripture officially, then they won't use it to form any type of doctrine, which is a shame because, the whole, like Martin Luther, for example. Martin Luther, he's the guy who, the Reformation, nailed the 95 Theses on the wall and says, we're pulling away from the Catholic Church. Well, this is not what the true church is supposed to look like.
Yeah.
So Martin Luther was represents the figurehead of the beginning of Protestantism.
Mm-hmm.
And when they did that, of course, the Catholic Bible has books that our Bible doesn't. Protestant Bible doesn't. And there was a debate. He said that certain books shouldn't be in the canon. They're too Catholic, so to speak. Mm. And he even argued that the book of James, which is in our Bible, he didn't even want James in there. He didn't want James. He didn't want Revelation. He didn't want 3rd John. He didn't want Jude.
Really?
He didn't think any of those should be in the canon.
Really?
Yeah, but especially James.
Why?
Because in verse 224, it has to do with faith and works. Yeah.
It's a shame too, because you need that verse in there to provide counterbalance. Otherwise, you do sort of cultivate a Christian culture that just becomes lackadaisical.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that's a good verse to have.
Yeah, totally.
And as Protestants, we don't hinge everything on works, obviously, but love is a verb, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
you gotta
counterbalance is the right word for it. Counterbalance is absolutely the right word for it. But anyway, if Martin Luther thinks that James is not valuable,
Book of Enoch
to our
have
faith,
a chance.
And he's the founder of it, then if who's to say that this can't be?
Mm-hmm.
Who's to say this doesn't have? I'm not saying that it's canon.
Right.
It's not canon.
Well, that's what.
But it has value because the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Septuagint, they both affirm, or I say they have affirmed the Book of Enoch. The ones who wrote them, the ones who interpreted them, they all had an understanding of what happens in the Book of Enoch.
Yeah.
And you can even find
even
quotations, excerpts,
Yeah.
references to the Book of Enoch in the Dead Sea Scrolls and the Septuagint.
Yeah, and in the Protestant Bible.
Gaining
there
the
are
cross of
references, and sometimes
Jude.
they're a little oblique, sometimes they're not so oblique.
Yeah.
That's what I like. Rob Skiba's approach on the Book of Enoch and Jasher and Jubilees. He calls them extra canonical, biblically or extra canonical endorsed biblical text. I think might be that. It's a mouthful, whatever the phrase is, but he kind of quantifies it in a cool way, and a lot of his work kind of centers around a lot of that stuff of there being some sort of this incursion, this Nephilim, this Watchers, Grigori kind of theory existing, permeating in various cultures and subsequently being suppressed. Like how the Smithsonian confiscates every
every skeleton
every skeleton they can find,
and suppresses it, and what makes this different, this is not like the Gospel of Mary that's not in the Bible. If the Enoch is something you should hold valuable, why not the Gospel of Mary or the Gospel of Thomas or one of these other Gnostic Gospels? This is different. This is something that the Old Testament writers already knew. They already knew of Enoch and his writings,
and it's referenced,
and they reference it.
And
it's not like it's not like the no offense, but it's not like the Book of Mormon,
right?
Where nobody knew that
Mormons don't get offended by anything.
That
they're awesome.
All of these writings that make up this book, were lost forever. Until one guy is visited by an angel in the woods of New York,
right?
And he's given a set of golden tablets that only he knows how to interpret, and they're all these scrolls, and they're all supposed to be thousands of years old.
That's what I love about Mormons. Like
it all comes down to one guy's very questionable experience in the woods of New York.
Teenage hucksters,
No offense, but I'm not buying it.
I don't know how much they buy it. It's really I love hanging out with Mormons because they're always fun. Everyone I've known has always been super upbeat, and they are not sensitive about that at all.
They're not. They love to talk.
They get it. They're really easy. They're a lot of fun.
They get it, and they decide to believe it.
Right.
Because
they own it.
They do, and I respect that.
I respect that too.
I respect that.
That's fine. You can have Joseph Smith, and I'll have Flat Earth, and we'll call it.
You take Flat Earth, I'll take Enoch, Joseph Smith.
And we'll all just march right into the kingdom together.
Adam
Burrell said, "Hey, so
hey,
that's cool.
Adam.
Give a shout out to Adam. Adam is our Adam is the narrator for Empyrean Falling, which should be released on Audible any day now. They had to send it back for some piddly little minor thing, so it's having to go through another round of processing, which takes a few weeks, but it'll probably be done. It'll probably be approved by Audible in time for Christmas.
Cool.
So
that's fantastic.
Yeah. So that's going to be cool. And then I can start handing him the other text and we can get rolling on those as well. I really should probably do that anyways. Awesome. So I'm excited too, Adam. It's going to be pretty awesome, man.
Yeah, Adam connected with me on Instagram too. Thank you for
sweet.
That. That was cool. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Speaking of Instagram, I got to give a shout out to Nashville Typewriter. Nick and I's typewriters. We have a couple Royal Deluxes that we do our typewriter one-offs on, and they're really cool. But they're mechanical machines, and they break down or they wear out or whatever. And it's really, really hard finding somebody who will actually work on those things. Like I remember taking that typewriter 15 years ago to a place downtown Nashville and having them work on it. And it was back then, 15 years ago, there were still typewriter shops, who worked on office equipment, and none of those places exist. It's almost like the death of 35 millimeter film.
Mm-hmm.
I had a pen, or not a pen. What was it? It doesn't matter. I had an old Nikon F2 Photomic.
I remember.
Yeah, dude, 35 millimeter camera. Well, you didn't see all the crappy pictures I took too. It's a 10%.
I didn't want to. I just wanted to see the good ones.
Just want to see the good ones. And it was awesome. And there's nothing like it. There's no digital camera that feels the same, that has the same mechanical skill set, and it's fast. That's what's awesome about a mechanical camera. I could capture moments that you cannot, I just can't capture them with digital, and And maybe I'm just not well versed enough on digital or whatever, but I lost that camera in like 2010, 2009. And then it wasn't long after that Wolf Camera closed down, and there was no place in Nashville or Middle Tennessee to get 35 millimeter film, true black and white film, which is all that I used, which gives it a very sharp chromatic look that's very detailed, that Ilford 35 millimeter true black and white. And no one else really did that. And it's kind of the same with typewriters. It's like, man, finding somebody to do that kind of stuff it really takes. Oh, Nate's here. Hey, Nate.
What's up, man?
Yeah, I'm glad somebody remembers 2010. So finding Nashville typewriter, I had to do a Google search one night, and he's on Instagram. I don't think he has a website. His name is Kirk, but he's on Instagram. So if you have a typewriter, he charges, I think, $100 for portables, which is what ours are, and then $130 for standard, and then I think it's maybe like $30 extra for any hour worth of like hardcore repair work that I'm. But if you enjoy using your typewriter, if you need, and I don't know how he handles like shipping or going out of state to retrieve, but just message him, ask him, because it's such a cool niche thing. And I mean, to me, it's worth.
Sounds like that'd be a pretty small community of people. He might be able to like refer you to someone nearby.
Yeah,
I don't know. Hopefully,
because I know
they probably have a club.
Well, there's probably a club.
There's an association.
There's a club for everything. Yeah. Well, I stood his where he went up to, I think, Missouri to buy a typewriter collection from somebody.
Cool.
It was like this massive. It was like a room this big full of old typewriters, which is like, it's almost like dinosaurs. It's almost like skeletal. It's fossils, technological fossils. Joe Rogan talks about that, how there really does need to be, there probably is, they don't let me out much, so I don't know what's in the world anymore, but there needs to be like a technology museum, where it's just, you see the progression of all these cool things.
Go to Uncle Ronnie's house.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, go to Uncle Ronnie's house, and you might have to, step over some,
dude, we got
drop
pagers,
but yeah, some old garage door openers.
I've got what are those called? Not the BlackBerry, before the BlackBerry.
The Simon?
Yeah, it was like a pad with a stylus, and it was, I can't even remember.
There was an early, I remember when they brought him to the studio. They brought him to Classic Recordings in like the early 90s, and they sold him there, and it was like a brick, like the size of the microphone or the size of that mason jar or that Starbucks cup. And it had a keypad, and then it had a stylus. And then there was even an attachment so that you could, with a little spool of fax paper, and you could hook that up to it, and it would print off whatever was on there. Yeah. And that was like that may have been like the primordial smartphone of sorts, BlackBerry before even BlackBerry. It's sad that like no one watching this will have any idea what BlackBerry is.
Was it a ThinkPad? Yeah, I know. It was I can't remember. Shoot, it's on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, it'll come to me.
Yeah. Nate says they had those in FedEx. Yeah, they're pretty dope. Can't have everything though, I guess.
Well, speaking of typewriters,
you want to? Oh, we got to. Okay, 1, 2, 3, shoot.
Yeah,
all right, go. 1, 2, 3, shoot. 1, 2, 3, shoot. 1, 2, 3, shoot. Yeah, see, I let him win.
Yeah, I had your number that time. You told me your secret this time. So
I wanted to see if he would remember. Okay, I get to go first. Sweet. All right, everyone, buckle up. Typewriter one-offs. Here we go. By the way, I did this about 2.5 hours ago, and I thought I was under the wire, but we'll say that. Anyways,
confession time.
Yeah, it's coming. All right, here we go. The village was burning. They didn't know why. Klein understood. He had tried to warn them. His father had tried to protect them, but no one wanted to listen to the soused ramblings of an elderly potato farmer whose shining moment of glory had been killing another man with a hammer on the other side of the world. They had given him some gold trinkets to adorn his breast and a piece of paper with a seal on it. And that meant ass all to their neighbors when the spittle started flying. Thankfully, those neighbors were dead now. Klein watched the ash from their homes waft down like snow. Gallantry in the face of the enemy. That is what they had called it. But Klein knew the truth. It was the expedience of survival. The epiphany came when Klein took his son on his first hunt. A glorified nature walk, the most he got out of it was observing the fauna. The rabbits were plentiful, with their squat legs, plump bodies, and soft fur. The wolf, on the other hand, was lean and powerful, alone and thrown in bold relief at the tree line. The pack was certainly nearby, and Klein steered his son back to the house, not wanting to be caught in the hinterland at dusk. But he knew. No one feared the rabbits. They were ripe for the picking. The wolves would have their fill. That was why his family had chosen the boar as their crest. Domesticated, the pig was a glorified farmhouse pet, valuable only for detecting earthquakes and being the centerpiece of a family meal. But the boar would charge you if you tried to kill it. Even wounded and bleeding its last, it was fearsome. Klein had instructed his family in the ways of his parents, to pray while their neighbors danced under a harvest moon. And now the reaper had come to harvest what had been sown. The predators were descending upon the prey, and no amount of preparedness or good stewardship would save them now. Klein wrapped his son in his cloak, grabbed his sword, and forged into the night.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah,
be a boar.
Be a boar.
Be a boar.
You know, be a boar. Because the interesting thing about the boar is it's an animal that is it's altered by its circumstances, but in a way you can transpose that onto human psychology and say, like, you have a choice, you know, because it's true. If you take a pig, just a little, pink farm pig, a babe, and let babe out into the woods, they say that within a couple weeks it starts to grow hair and tusks.
Interesting.
It takes no time for it to start developing to its new environment.
Oh, wow, that's really cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so like the boar is such a great metaphor for like what you can become, what you want, what you can be if you want to, and it's something that there is this big thrust of lionizing, ironically, using the phrase lionizing victimhood, that you are just a victim of circumstance. And it's like, well, you can be a piggy, you can be a little piggy, and at best you are a pet, and at worst you're a meal, or you can prepare and protect and be a boar, I read, my buddy Dave told me about this really interesting thing that I'd never heard of called RK theory. Lower R is in Romeo / capital K is in kilo theory. And it's a species selection theory that says there are basically two types of animals. All species can more or less fall into two paradigms. Either the R, which is the maximum capacity for breeding, so like rabbits, or the K, which is the maximum capacity of an environment to sustain an animal. So you really get your prey predator archetypes, your dichotomy here of helpless, non-competition, non-aggressive, breeding animals who, rabbits don't have really any defense mechanisms. There might be one rabbit who will stand up for himself, but all the other rabbits will run away. And all the rabbits do is eat and breed, and then a predator comes in and eats some of them, they run away, and then when the predator is gone, they go right back to where they were and they start eating and breeding again. And that's the paradigm that they use to spread themselves, is this non-aggressive, cowardly, impotent, ineffective, just mass production kind of thing. So then on the other side of the spectrum, you have your apex predators, your wolves, your lions, your eagles, your tigers. And and the thing is that's really fascinating about this is from a sociological human perspective, humans naturally fall into the K category, right? But on certain psychological 30,000 foot view levels, politically, these are two different paradigms. And the left tends to fall into the R paradigm, and the right tends to fall into the K paradigm. Because the left does it, it just thinks that we should all just be able to exist in this land of milk and honey and plenty with no competition, with no aggression, with a real discouragement for violence and a real discouragement for intergroup preference, no loyalty, no. Our animals do not typically show strong sacrificial ties to their peers or to monogamy, like gazelle typically will not fight for another gazelle if a hyena pounces on them. They just run, but a lion, you see get pounced by a bunch of hyenas, there's another lion who's gonna, because the K animals, because there are fewer of them, they invest more into the development of their offspring. And so dude,
that's a good parallel.
And it is a very strong, there's a very big political it's transposed into politics. And you can really read about what people think of the political parties of people who are liberal and leftist in their ideology. And those are the same thing, by the way. Don't listen to anybody who's like, well, I'm not a leftist, I'm a liberal. Like, no, you're not. You're a liberal, you're a leftist. It's the same thing. Shut up. Keep lying to yourself. And then there's the conservative ideology, which says no, monogamy, investment, training, meritocracy, because there are only so many resources, and there's not just this land of plenty, because eventually it's going to run out. So it's very interesting. There was an article in, I think it was called the Authoritative Conservative, or there was some website that had an article about it. But if you just Google RK theory politics,
what's interesting about that is that in the K paradigm, you have a problem where you have the ideas of individualism. Maybe not.
Yes.
Maybe not just the person, but maybe you have a tribe, like a pack. You have a wolf pack.
With a hierarchy.
With a hierarchy, you have a wolf pack, have a pride of lions, you have all these things. And then over in the R's, you'll have, herds and flocks and, families. Now, they kind of understand they're all in it for the same thing.
Yeah.
Whereas in the K category, because all you have the predators, the individualists, and the pack mentality, it's hard for lions and wolves to work together to the same end.
Oh yeah,
and there's gonna be no alliance of those in the K paradigm if the R's be the aggressors.
Yeah,
and that's concerning. If you're okay.
The is probably in its self-sufficiency and its meritocracy and its regard for individualism, but also how that individualism incorporates into the greater body politic, which is one thing that Robert Heinlein was really good at. In all of his books, Starship Troopers being the best among them, he talked a lot about how in order to be the best citizen you could be, whether you were a civilian or a citizen, whether you went to federal service or didn't, there still was always this real push, this real drive for self-actualization and furthering your education as much as you can all the time. You're never content to sit on your laurels and, never to grow languid, to always be learning and to be the best, the most effective member of the body as possible. And that's that nice synthesis of individualism and tribal mentality.
He said nice synthesis. I don't know what that means.
Nice synthesis.
Oh,
there we
nice.
go. Yeah.
It's
I do make up words sometimes though, so you have to be,
polite collaboration.
Yeah. By the way, in
He's more of a wordsmith than me.
in revealing, well, I just, I don't know how to talk anymore. In revealing my own failures, on the back, I literally got 2 words into this before I failed and had to start over. I
didn't even fill my page.
Mine says, I don't know if you can see it, but it starts out, the village was burning, right? You have to excuse like the weird typos. My typewriter just needs a cleaning. But on the back, if you look, it says the villaging. I don't know.
That sounds like the name of a really good movie.
The Villaging.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's M. Night Shyamalan's
It's like
sequel.
The Shining and The Village. You put them together.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, I think John was watching.
Hey,
John.
Yeah.
So you're gonna do yours?
I'll do mine. Mine is shorter.
Well, but Nick goes for quality over quantity.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Let's see. You said you were under the gun. I wrote this. Let's see. What does the timer say? 41 minutes and 8 seconds or 17 seconds ago.
I literally walked through the door. I came into his house and petted the dog and was like, there's no one down here.
I hear typing.
Yeah, and then but I noticed the door to the Tiki Lounge was closed, and I opened it and I saw him standing there, just Hemingwaying.
Dude, this has been vacation week, but I've gotten so much stuff done.
Oh yeah,
I've gotten so much stuff done.
Well, you guys were doing Christmas stuff earlier today, right?
Well, we were. That actually fell through. We didn't do that.
Okay.
No, we're gonna do that.
One less excuse.
One thing tomorrow, more things next weekend. We got a lot of Christmas stuff, but I got another full chapter of my second French book done.
Nice.
Hackerjack's actually published. I'm not telling people that until the 5th, but I got it online. I was able to get a couple reviews. So it's paperback and ebooks online now, which is great. So I'm building that up.
Cool, man.
We've got all the footage for Kid Ventures episode 5. I started editing that, and I edited that first video, and I just uploaded it to YouTube of that writing tips for kids.
Oh, cool!
So I got all that. I got that done today, and I uploaded it today. And it feels like there's something else. Oh, and I got the first 15 minutes of the audiobook for Hackerjack back.
Oh yeah,
and went through that and approved that. So now he's working on the rest of it.
Yeah,
so it's been a big week.
Dude,
and I actually sold a couple of Hackerjack paperbacks.
Yeah, nice, man. All right.
Yeah.
You should start keeping Matthew McConaughey's interview on the Joe Rogan podcast was really good about this. He talked about keeping a journal of everything he did during the day, and like whatever. That's a little artist brain for me. But I think what would be cool is keeping a list of everything you accomplish.
Yeah.
As far as your writing goes.
Yeah, that might be easier than trying to make a list of everything I intend to do.
Right, yeah.
To be that go-getter driven person, because I'm not.
But that just builds stress. I mean, we all know what we need to do.
Yeah, my thing is confidence. That's why I like that idea. That's actually a pretty good idea. Keeping a journal of things I actually got done, because I can always go back to that and say, "Oh, look, I can do this. Look at all the stuff I got done in a day. Yeah, I can do this."
It's reinforcing. Yeah, you totally need that. Anyways, go ahead.
So this is just off the top of my head in 5 minutes. Yeah, because Jonathan was pulling into the driveway and I just didn't have time to do it this week. All right, hope you enjoy it. Was it?
Oh, I'll do this.
Who's typing is freaking me out. Yeah, that was me typing. Okay, you type, I'll read.
Yeah, sure.
For the last time, Dad got up and moved his bedtime accoutrements to the living room couch. That adorable 5-year-old girl was a sleep-stealing terrorist. At 12 a.m., she padded up to his side of the bed and basically shouted, "Where do stuffed animal babies come from, Daddy?" Dad smiled patiently and told her they come from the baby stuffed animal factory. She walked back to her bed, but at 1:30 a.m., she ran into Dad's bedroom and pounced on his bed, landing her knee in his genitals. "How do stars twinkle?" Dad didn't smile, but he did have to go pee, so he got up and peed and poured her a glass of warm, handed it to her and said, "If you wake me up one more time, I will unplug all the stars until you're 10 years old." At 2:45 a.m., Dad woke up to the searing pain of a little finger jabbing his eyeball. Daddy, can I sleep in your bed? Of course you can, but only if you promise to fall asleep first, okay? Okay. She crawled under the covers and quickly fell asleep, but somewhere between 3 and 4 a.m., strange and excited dreams of playing in a girls' soccer team rambled through her brain. Dad wished for death. He prayed for sleep, even if it meant not waking up until she was 20. 30 minutes later, as he stared into the darkness of the living room ceiling, he wondered what she looked like smiling, laughing, and squealing in her sleep. Screw it. Back to bed.
I love it. That seems like a lot of that was pulled from autobiographical.
It is all experience. That's real. All those things are real. That happens. That happens. Hey, yeah, Nate says he's got a daughter coming. Congratulations, man. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm typing this time.
Yeah.
Congrats. I abbreviate things.
Yeah, well, that's the price you pay for having a daughter who is adorable and energetic and just, no governor on her emotions and just full bore enthusiasm.
Yep. That's how little girls are like that, man. They're just all enthusiasm.
Yeah.
And it's great.
Yeah.
And it's great.
She's a lot of fun, man. She's hilarious.
She and I are polar opposites in that way. She's all enthusiasm. And I'm like just completely opposite.
Well,
but
I don't know.
We're identical in almost every other way.
Really? Okay. I have very fond memories though.
She even has good looks.
Yeah, she's cute. Yeah, she's got the goss.
Yeah. She's got a little belly like me. I love it.
Right.
I love it.
Well, I remember when we were kids. I mean, it's no surprise that like Nick and I are doing this because like this is, I mean, literally my earliest memories as a human are with Nick sitting in front of the TV. Like we would sit in front of the TV and put on the first Star Wars movie. You know how like it pans down and then the 10-4 comes over and the Star Destroyer comes over. Nick had the really brilliant idea to pretend like the knobs on the wooden cabinet TV were the controls for a ship, that was
usually the Millennium Falcon.
Usually the Millennium Falcon, because that's the most fun and the hardest to figure out how to fly. But like all my earliest memories are like Star Wars and Nick, at like the house in Madison. And it's never changed. Like I remember when Clear and Present Danger came out, we were in our commando phase and we would go down to the creek. We would like paint ourselves up in camouflage and get like our toy guns. And this is back when
the drainage easement from the subdivision that goes into the mucky creek.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
It was the jungles of Costa Rica.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It might as well. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a picture of us with our shirts off, painted camouflage all over.
Oh, that's right.
I got the Rambo headband on.
Yeah. Mom put like some makeup on us to make it look like blood. Yeah. So we always like did stuff like this. We gotta. Okay, I'm really hungry, so we should definitely go in a minute. But
I'm starving.
I know. But before we go, so like let's tell them the story of, because this really has been Nick and I. Even though Nick's the youngest, it's really weird. Like Nick is the youngest of his mom, but he's the second of our dad. And then I'm the eldest of my mom, but I'm the third of my dad. So like there's this weird there's like this weird yin yang thing going on of like
I'm an older brother.
Right, but he has younger brother.
But I'm second born.
Right.
He's
younger.
Yeah, he's younger than me, but he has firstborn traits.
So it's like we complement each other really well, or at least we do in my brain. I think
No, I agree.
I think Nick excuses a lot of my more frustrating. I'm a lot. But Nick just puts up with it. But we've always like had fun adventures together. We get along really well together.
We're the closest in age, I think.
Yeah, we probably are.
So because you were about 83.
I'm 37. Yeah, 83.
And I was 78. So only 5 years.
Yeah, that's a big part of it too. We are the closest, not by much. We're all about 6 or 7 years apart.
BJ is 7. Our oldest brother is 7 years older than me.
Yeah,
and then after him, is my brother Rob, and he was born in '83 as well. He's the same age. But he's born in November.
Oh yeah.
You were in April.
So I'm right on the cusp. And then my younger brother is 7 years younger, or our youngest. He's 7 years younger than me. So it makes it. Cameron. Yeah, he was born in '90.
We have another brother.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sort of. Yeah. So I hear. I don't know. It'd be funny if he's watching right now. Hi, Cameron.
I love you,
yeah.
Cam.
Where's my cover? It's like whatever. No, but okay. So before we go, real quick, let's tell the sailboat story.
Oh yes.
Do we have time for the sailboat story?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Let's see. Oh yeah, we should look at this. Let's see. That's sweet of you, Adam. I appreciate that. But yeah.
That's so cool. 85 from bro. Okay, so he's 35.
Dude, Adam, you got a 12 and an 8-year-old. That is killer, man. Those are
it's the best. Middle grade, man. It's so fun. It's so fun.
Oh, your daughter listens while you narrate. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, that's killer. That's got to be a lot of fun. Does she probably gives you pointers too? She's like, that didn't sound good, Dad. I don't like that. I don't like that accent.
You know what?
Make him sound like Snape.
When I auditioned Hacker Jack, I got like 7 auditions back, and the kids listened to all of them with me.
Really?
And they were just absolutely unanimous on this one guy. They were like,
"Really?
That's it, Dad. That's it." They both were like, "Dad,
really?
that's the one. That's the one." I'm
wow,
like,
unanimous. Huh?
I'm going with it. We're going with it. And I was kind of like, yeah, I can hear it. Yeah, he'd be pretty good. But they're like, no, this is the one I would listen to a whole book with this guy.
That's important.
So I'm like, yeah, sure, go with it.
Adam, that probably comes in handy for you too, bud. Like having your children kind of gut check you on what sounds good, you know. I mean, if you're doing like a middle grade fiction book, I'm sure, you know, that's yeah. Yeah,
that's
Nate.
cool.
Yeah, you got yours doing ribbon dancing in the womb. And she should be prepared for that, by the way, because I remember my mom telling a story about how I used to do karate kicks apparently in the womb, and I kicked Mom out of bed one time.
Wow.
Yeah, like she was just in bed sleeping, and all of a sudden, boom, like off she goes, and it's like a little xenomorph, you know. But anyway, so okay,
the sailboat story.
Yeah, tell the sailboat story. Circa 2005.
Oh yeah, somewhere in there.
Okay.
Yeah, somewhere in there. Let's see, sailboat story. So before kids, married, before kids, I've always wanted to sail. I'm a sailor at heart.
So, yeah,
I knew how to do it, even though I've never done it.
I used to go on
read all the books.
What was the boat that we went on in
Destin? The Nathaniel Bowditch.
Yeah, Nathaniel Bowditch was
one of the Blackbeard.
The Blackbeard,
yeah. Schooners.
They're still down there.
And we ride, do little sunset cruises. And I just grew up with that romanticized idea of sailing. Oh yeah, I've got sailboat stuff in here.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're nerds. Dude.
So I'm like, but I live in Tennessee.
Right.
You know, I'm landlocked state. I grew up in Idaho. Yeah. So there was no sailing in Idaho.
Right.
None. Not even a sailboat.
Yeah.
And there are lakes, no sailboats. So, but I always wanted to sail. So when I was got married, had this single car garage, wasn't using it for anything. So I decided that I'm going to teach myself how to sail, but I needed a boat.
Yeah.
So I bought plans for a little 10-foot boat. I built a little 10-foot sailboat.
Yeah.
And
in this garage?
Yeah,
pre-Tiki Lounge.
Yep. Didn't have anything to pull it on, no trailer.
Tiki Lounge can't sell.
Had to rig a way to like flip it upside down and store it and load it on top of my Cutlass Sierra.
Yeah.
Tie it down to the top of a Cutlass Sierra.
Yeah.
Which we did.
And because the main mast, you could pull the main mast out.
Yeah.
Flip the boat over, lay it down, run the main mast.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It was awesome. And it was a great little boat. It was pretty.
It was cool.
So anyway, the second time I took it out, I took Jonathan with me.
Now, the first time, though, didn't you field test it in the pool?
Well, that wasn't the first time. That was the first time I took it out. But yes, I did want to make sure that it was going to like not sink.
Yeah.
And so we took it I brought it over to Mom and Dad's. They had a pool in the back. And we took it off the car and lugged it across the driveway, down the steps to the pool.
Yeah. And it was not a big pool.
No, small pool. The boat was took up half of the pool.
Yeah, I think there was like 3 feet on either side.
And we put it in the pool, and it didn't sink.
It didn't
and then
sink.
I got in it, and it didn't sink. And I'm like, I'm going to the lake.
I got to talk to Cameron. We got to have pictures of that somewhere. I know we took pictures.
I hope so.
It was the coolest thing in the world,
I had some on like an old flip phone that I got rid of. I don't know if we have some anywhere else. I know Rihanna has some somewhere.
So it passed the pool test.
Passed the pool test, took it to the lake, and I took it out with Rihanna.
Oh, cool.
We stayed just in the little inlet around the marina, and that was great. And so I'm like, man, I'm gonna take Jonathan.
Yeah.
So Jonathan comes with me. We load it up. We get down to the
Bad
lake.
idea.
We get it in the water. We get in, and we're going. Nice,
beautiful summer day.
Beautiful, gusty, warm, humid. It's perfect.
Beautiful white, tall, billowy clouds.
I'm like, I got this. I mean, I know how to sail now. I taught myself. It's working. We can tack.
We're tacking.
We're doing all the things. We're out singing sea shanties, drinking beer. In the middle. And I'm like, you know what? Let's go out.
Giving our best Curse of Monkey Island.
Past the marina, out into the middle of the lake.
Yeah, we got
more wind out there. So and it's a big lake. And so we went out into the dead center of this lake. And there's a little island in the middle of the lake. I'm like, oh, cool. And having no experience of seamanship at all, I'm like, hey, let's just go pull up to that little island and get out and check it out.
Yeah.
So we're on the windward side of the island. And I'm
probably
not
was
the leeward side of the island.
Yeah.
And I wasn't paying any attention to that. I didn't really, I hadn't learned. So it was time to learn something.
Yeah, we learned something.
Yeah. And the side of the island was just like all giant rocks and boulders. And the wind was pushing us into it. And we snapped off our rudder.
Well, we stopped and we had lunch.
But we cracked the rudder and it broke off. And so now we're like, okay, well, we got to get back.
Yeah.
So we had an oar.
Oh, that's right. We had 2 oars.
We got the wind, but the wind was coming directly at us from the marina.
Yeah.
Where we had to go.
Yeah.
And so we had to tack back.
Yeah.
But we didn't have a rudder, so we're using the oar, trying to use the oar as a rudder.
Which doesn't work.
Not working. We keep getting blown back and we keep hitting the rocks on the island. And all of a sudden, it seemed like all of a sudden because I wasn't paying attention until I heard the thunder. Black clouds. Black clouds. And I look up and all the other boats are just scattering like cockroaches.
They are, yeah.
They're just all I see is like white wakes and people just going back to their respective docks.
Getting out of there, baby.
And we're in the middle of the lake. And I'm like, I have killed us.
I remember there was a moment when I was sitting there like sculling thinking, if I die like this might be how I die. Just accepting it.
Mom is going to be like,
those idiots.
I'm going to die, but she's only going to hate me.
No, she'd be mad at me too. Yeah, she'd be mad at me for being dumb enough to, and probably knowing that I broke something. See, here's the thing. You can't take me anywhere because like I'll break anything. Because like we were having our lunch and then I saw this like cigar boat or something this little speedboat come blowing past.
Yep.
And I think it was the wake from the speedboat along with the wind maybe that made the sailboat hit the rocks because we heard it. And then we were like, let's back up and go back. We got a little weirded out. And then but we inspected it and there wasn't anything wrong with the boat. It wasn't leaking. Nothing seemed out of kilter. And when we started tacking back to the harbor, that's when like literally I heard a pop and I pulled up the whole rudder.
Yeah, like the hardware that attached the whole rig to the back of the boat just broke.
One piece and came out. And then so we tried like using the oar as a rudder and then we decided to row back, Yeah,
it wasn't working.
But
into the wind.
It was like a half hour.
Coming. Yeah.
And we got like 50 feet.
Yeah.
It was awful.
It was
and then
terrible.
like during that process, the oar lock that keeps the oar secured against the gunwale, like it popped off.
Yeah.
So Nick is still able to like row like a normal human being, and I'm having a skull like I'm
fruitlessly.
Yeah.
Fruitlessly though. So
so storm clouds.
So so I pull out my little horn because you're supposed to have a sounding device, which is
God.
Yeah, U.S. Coast Guard.
Mandatory.
I can't remember the requirements, but you're supposed to have lights, you're supposed to have sound signals, and so I pull it out and there's a boat going by and I blare the horn really loud. The guy, as he's driving, looks over and I'm waving my arms and telling him to come over. And he does. He comes over.
Super sweet.
Yeah, super nice guy.
Very
he and his family. he lets us get in his boat, which was super great.
Yeah,
super great. And then we tied my boat to the back of his boat. He drove all the way back to his campsite, dropped off his family, then drug us and our boat all the way across the lake to the marina so we could get back. So we did 2 trips. He was a Southern gentleman.
Yeah, he really was, man. That guy.
Man.
I tried to give him money, he wouldn't take it. But I remember he was pulling in, and he was pulling into the wharf, and as he did, like the momentum from our boat kept going because it was tethered. Mm-hmm. And I remember we had to like jump onto the dock real quick and try and like keep it from smashing into the pylons. Handle in the process, like we barely got the thing there. And then I remember how did we get did we pull it out, leave it on the shore, and then he drove us back to where the car was? How did we get to the car?
Well,
or was the car already there?
Oh yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Didn't he drop us off and then took us back to where the car was, and we drove?
He took us to his campsite. His wife and family got out.
Yeah.
We untied my boat from his and pulled it up on the shore at the campsite and left it there.
That's right.
He took us in his boat across the lake because we couldn't go fast dragging the boat, and the storm was coming. We needed to hurry. So he took us all the way back to the marina. We jumped in our car and drove around the lake to his campsite to pick up the boat.
Yeah. Yeah. Total misadventure. Yeah. And there was a moment where I thought, like, we might sink. Like, this might be it.
It was a whole day. We were starving when we got back.
That's right.
I'm starving from just telling the story.
Yeah, we're hungry. Yeah. So whatever.
It was awesome.
That was a good adventure. Thankfully the writing has not had the same misadventure as the anime. Yeah, we'll check these real quick, and then I guess.
Car broke down on the way to a wedding. Oh, dude, ouch.
Yeah,
not your wedding, I hope.
No,
not your wedding, I hope.
That's funny.
Oh man, that's the worst. Especially if you're in the wedding party and you they're waiting, they can't do anything without you, or the girl you're to your own wedding.
To your own wedding.
Wow, dude.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Well, at least
can't proceed without you.
Exactly.
So
no, it wasn't yours. Okay.
Fashionably late. Yeah. So what do you have coming up? Anything you want to tell anybody about?
I'm going to keep making those writing tips for kids videos.
I thought you weren't supposed to do that until next year. Are you kind of working ahead?
I need to get the videos out before I do the classes with the actual kids here at the house.
Oh, gotcha.
I've got to get the videos out. Hackerjack's out. Going to start working on getting the Mermicorn published next. And a lot of promotion for Hackerjack. And there's a guy who does a podcast called Middle Grade Ninja.
Oh, cool.
And I've listened to it many times, and I contacted him. I'm going to be on his podcast.
Are you really?
In January, yeah. I'm
going
to be
that's awesome.
Guest author. Yeah, guest author.
Nice.
One
Look
of
at
many.
This guy over here.
Probably the least accomplished of all the authors on there. But
whatever.
He always needs, he needs fresh content, and always looking for authors. So.
There's another resource you can look up called Haro, Haro.
Okay.
It stands for, its initialism stands for Help a Reporter Out. And it's a website where you can sign up for newsletters that go out, and they're just like cattle calls that reporters put out there.
Dude, that's awesome.
When they need sources, they need resources for content. Haro.
I'm gonna write it down, actually.
And
Haro, Haro.
Yeah, help a reporter out. And if you're my marketing agent, Jamie, told me about it. And if you're a writer who's looking to create more of a digital footprint, get your name out there, if you're an expert on anything, or if you're a professional at anything else, or if you just want to talk about your work, be a resource, be someone that a reporter can quote in an article or go to you for information, then man, it's a really good resource. And they just email you. It's just an email list. So, and you just respond to them. So it's pretty cool. So, cool. I mean, I don't think you need it right now, but never hurts to have on hand.
Yeah. Anyway. I wonder if they can hear that, me doing this.
Yeah.
In the microphone, it's so sensitive.
All right.
Every time I do this, I sound like I'm Donkey Kong.
Yeah. All right, awesome. Well, Nate, Adam, appreciate you guys stopping by.
Thanks, guys.
John,
Adam,
I think you were watching too. Appreciate you.
Good chatting with Nate. I've seen him, you and him.
Oh, yeah.
Doing a live stream. Yeah. It's cool.
It was fun.
And so anyway, guys, hey, thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah.
It's been good seeing or chatting with you guys. Thanks for listening to us ramble.
Yeah. We almost made it under an hour.
We did almost. So close.
So close. That's okay. Whatever.
But we do it early so we can get to the Mexican.
Yeah, we're hungry. So I'm Jonathan.
Nick.
We're the Goslings. Bye,
all right,
everyone.
Guys. See you guys. Have a great week.
Yeah. it's